Okay, so this evening we're going to talk about precious human life. And I think the more we understand the Dharma, the more we understand the Four Noble Truths, the more we appreciate our life and its potential and the rarity of getting the kind of rebirth that we have. Because not every human life is a precious human life, according to Buddhist standards. Okay, a precious human life is a life in which we have the opportunity to practice the Buddha's teachings, in which we have the opportunity to progress on the path towards liberation and enlightenment. So as we can see, there's many human beings on this planet, there's many sentient beings on this planet, but those who actually have the opportunity to deeply investigate the Buddha's teachings and practice them are very few in number. So we're extraordinarily fortunate to have this opportunity. So first of all, what are the good qualities of our life? First, we have a human body and a human mind, which means we have human intelligence, which can be used to develop the path to liberation. Now, clearly, human intelligence can also be abused, and sometimes human beings act worse than animals. Sometimes people wonder, they always ask the question, well, how come you Buddhists believe that human beings can be born as animals? And I reply, well, look at the way some of the people live when they're in human bodies. They act worse than animals. Because animals only kill if they're hungry or they're threatened. But human beings kill for sport. They kill for politics. They kill for all sorts of stupid reasons as far as I'm concerned. For honor. Okay. So you can see that if a human being acts worse than an animal while they're in this body, future lives it makes sense that they might have a lower rebirth that matches their mental state. So the fact that right now we have a human body and not an animal body, not a hungry ghost body or a god body, but a body that supports human intelligence, and the human intelligence that can be used to learn and contemplate and meditate on the Buddha's teachings. Not only do we have this special human intelligence, but all of our senses are intact. We're not blind or deaf or mentally disabled. I remember one time I was asked to teach in Denmark, and one of the people at the Dharma Center worked in a home for mentally and physically disabled children, and I wanted to go there to visit the children. And so she took me, and we walked into this beautiful room, because Denmark's a very wealthy country. Beautiful room, covered with toys, brightly colored toys from one end to the other. And all I saw was toys. And then I began to hear these very strange sounds, and these groans and these moans. And I started to look more closely, and I noticed that there were children in this room among all these toys. But these children were disabled, and they couldn't think properly, or they couldn't move properly. So they were human beings. They were born in a wealthy country with far greater pleasure and wealth than so many other children have, and yet in spite of that they couldn't use their human body and human mind because of that karma that had ripened in that lifetime that made them disabled. So it's important for us to appreciate that we don't have that hindrance right now. We so often take our life for granted. But I think it's important to realize that we're really free of many obstacles, such as that one. Not only that, but we're born in a country and in a time when the Buddha's teachings exist, and where the pure lineage of teachings exists from the time of the Buddha down to our own teachers. We live in a place where there's a Sangha community, where there's support for religious practice. If it would be so easy, we could have been born in a communist country or in a country with a totalitarian government, where you might have had incredible spiritual longing, but absolutely no opportunity to meet the Buddha's teachings, or you could have been thrown in jail if you even tried to practice them. One of my good friends went to teach the Dharma in communist countries before the fall of the Soviet Union. And he told me a story one time that how he had to give the teachings. So it would be in somebody's house because there was no way you could rent a public place, and of course there were no temples. The people would have to arrive one by one at different times because you weren't allowed to have a gathering of many people together. When everybody arrived, they went into the bedroom in the back, but out in the living room, the first room that you entered from the front door, they had a big table and they put out playing cards and drinks, so that they would have the Dharma teaching in the back room, but in case the police came, they could quickly run out in the front room, sit around the table and pretend like they were playing cards and having a good time. So imagine that, I mean, how difficult it is to hear the Buddha's teachings, that you have to do that. And in China and Tibet, after the communist takeover, people were thrown in prison. They were beaten and they were tortured, just for even saying Namo Amitofo or Om Mani Padme Hum. So how fortunate we are that we're not born in that kind of situation. We're here in a free country. We have religious freedom. There's temples, there's Dharma books, there's talks. I mean, it's incredible to think of the opportunity that we have. In addition, from our side, we have interest in the Dharma. And this is, too, very, very precious, because there's many people who have access to the Dharma and have a human body and are healthy, but they have absolutely no interest in it. Now, some of you may have been to Bodh Gaya, for example, the place of the Buddha's enlightenment, or Sravasti, because our Abbey is named after the place where the Buddha spent 25 rainy seasons and where he taught a number of sutras. But you go to these holy places, and there's people who live there. They were born there. They're in, one of the holiest places on the planet, with teachers and monasteries and books and everything around. But all they want to do is make money by selling souvenirs to tourists. Or all they want to do is make money by running a tea stall. And here they have access, to the Buddha's teachings, but from their side, absolutely no karma to be interested in it. So the fact that we have this interest and appreciation for the Buddha's teachings is really something very, very precious. We should respect the spiritual part of ourselves. We shouldn't take that for granted. We shouldn't just say, oh yeah, of course I believe like this and it's no big deal. But respect that part of ourselves and really nourish it and take care of it. Because it's hard to have this opportunity. Okay? Why is it hard? Well, it's hard to create the cause for a precious human life. Because first of all, just to get an upper rebirth, we need to keep good ethical discipline. Now, how many people on this planet keep good ethical discipline? Okay? How many people abandon the 10 destructive actions, such as killing, stealing, unwise sexual behavior, lying, creating disharmony with our speech, harsh talk, gossip, coveting, ill will, wrong views. How many people abandon these? I mean, you look at people in our world who are very famous. I mean, I'm American. Look at the president of my country, George Bush. Does he abandon these 10? No way. You know, he's dropping bombs here and he's shooting people there. You know, very difficult to get a precious human life when you think that killing other people is the way to happiness. No, so you might be rich and famous and powerful, but if you don't keep good ethical discipline after you die, you know, the rebirth is really unfortunate. And, you know, when we look around, it's actually quite hard to abandon negative actions. For example, how many of us can truthfully say that we have never lied in our whole life? Yeah. How about using our speech to create disharmony? Anybody who's never done that, who's never talked behind somebody else's back? Okay. How about harsh speech? Anybody here who's never lost their temper and blamed other people? Or gossip? Who here has never gossiped? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Well, look, it's not easy to keep good ethical discipline, is it? It's not easy. You know, we don't find it easy, and if we look at the number of people on this planet, you know, they don't find it easy either. So the fact that we have this life right now, which indicates that in the past we had good ethical discipline, it's kind of almost a miracle that we're born as a human being now, seeing how difficult it is to create good karma. Yeah, because if we look, you know, it's hard to create good karma, but negative karma, boy, just sit down and relax. We create it right away. Okay? Yeah, we sit down and what do? Oh, we covet somebody else's stuff, or we lie, or we talk badly about this person. You know, flirt with somebody who's not your husband or your wife. No, very easy. People create negative karma. Positive karma is difficult. So the fact that we have a human life right now that is a result of good karma that we created in the past, this is a real opportunity. It's very rare and precious. Okay? Another cause of a precious human rebirth is practicing the 6 perfections, or the 6 far-reaching attitudes. Okay? So, for example, being generous, that's one of the 6. Yeah. Now, we might think we're very generous people, but I don't know about you. Often, I give away what I don't need, and I keep for myself what I want. Or if I get many things, I give away the things that are poor quality, and I keep the good quality for myself. Okay? Or I have the impulse to be generous, and then my mind says, oh no, if you give it away, then you won't have it. Better keep it for yourself. So, you know, it's actually hard to be generous. I don't know about you, but for me it can be difficult. And yet the fact that we live in a country where we have enough to eat, you know, where we have shelter, we have medicine, we have clothing, we have computers, we have an aircon hall, you know, this all is a result of having been generous in previous lives. Yeah. So again, somehow we have a lot of good karma ripening in this lifetime to have the opportunity that we have. Another one of the 6 perfections that we need to practice for a precious human life is being patient. In other words, not getting angry when we're suffering or when other people harm us. Is that easy or difficult? What do you think? Yeah? Somebody blames you for something you didn't do. Are you patient or calm, or do you get angry? Come on, be honest. Angry, right away. We don't waste 1 second. Yeah. We don't even think, oh, should I become angry or shouldn't I? You know, right away, boom, we get angry and we tell that person off because they criticized us. Now, being calm and not retaliating when we're harmed is difficult. Yeah, working with our anger isn't easy. So again, you know, our precious human life, you know, we have human bodies that work well. We are, you know, attractive people so that people don't shun us. This is because we practice patience. You know, we can get along well with other people. We can function in society. Now, we haven't been thrown in prison because we're disagreeable. This is, you know, a result of having practiced patience. So again, it's, you know, we need all these differing conditions to have a precious human life, and these come through having practiced very diligently in previous lifetimes. Or another of the 6 perfections is joyous effort. Yeah, and this is what gives us the ability in this life to complete the things that we set out to do. So then we have to see, you know, is joyous effort easy or difficult to do? Is it easy to complete the things that you want to do? Is it easy to take delight in being virtuous? Yeah? Is it easier to sit and watch TV or to read a Dharma book? What do you choose? Where does your joyous effort go? Does it go to watching TV or to reading a Dharma book? If you have the choice between going on vacation to Australia or going on meditation retreat, what do you choose? Okay, so we see taking delight in virtue, having joyous effort in the Dharma, is not easy. But somehow in previous lives we did it, and as a result in this life we have the opportunity that we have to meet the Dharma. Okay? So we should really appreciate how rare and difficult it is to attain the conditions that we have right now. Now, it's really precious. And I say this because so often in our lives we look at what's wrong in our lives, don't we? Yeah. It's like there's this whole beautiful wall and there's one speck over there. And we concentrate on that and say, what's wrong? That's bad. And we miss the whole beautiful wall because we're looking at one thing. Well, it's the same in our life. We have so many good things going for us. And what do? We feel sorry for ourselves because of some small problem that we have. Yeah. Oh, my friend didn't call me today. I'm depressed. Oh, my boss doesn't appreciate my work. Poor me. Oh, my husband, my wife, you know, they didn't smile at me today. No, we so easily get angry and feel sorry for ourselves, don't we? And then we just focus. I call it the poor me syndrome, okay? Because our favorite mantra is poor me, poor me. Okay, we don't do Namo Amitofo, Namo Amitofo. We do poor me, poor me, poor me, poor me, poor me, you know. And we feel sorry for ourselves. Okay, how many of you people say the poor me mantra? Come on, be honest. Oh, one person's honest. Come on. There's more of you. How many people get into feeling sorry for themselves? One more honest person. Okay, there's 2 honest people in this room. The rest of you don't feel sorry for yourself? Really? Oh, very good. We'll give you lots of work to do. Yeah. But for the three of us in this room who feel sorry for ourselves, okay, what happens is, there's so many good things going for us in our life, and we just feel sorry for ourselves for these few problems. We don't appreciate that we have enough food to eat. Yeah? I mean, just think about it. Do you think every day how fortunate I am that I'm not hungry? We could have easily been born, in Afghanistan or Somalia and be very hungry. We could have been born in Iran and be at the place of the earthquake. Yeah? We haven't been born there. We have enough to eat. We have shelter. How fortunate we are. Or we could have been born in a country where there's absolutely no access to the Buddha's teachings. But do we appreciate that we're born in a place where we can contact Buddha's teachings and teachers? Yeah? Do we wake up in the morning and say, wow, I am so fortunate. I'm alive. And I can meditate this morning, and I can read some prayers, and I can read some Dharma books, and I can, develop my inner potential, my inner human beauty. Do we wake up in the morning excited about the day and think about how fortunate we are to practice the Dharma? Or do we wake up in the morning, the alarm goes off, and we go, I don't want to get up. Turn off the alarm. Okay, I'll get up. I gotta go to work. I hate my job. Poor me. I gotta go to this job that I don't like. The only good thing is I get paid a lot of money. Money. Yeah, I'll get up. I'm up. I'm going to work. This is fun. Money. Okay? But then we get to work, and then again it's, poor me, I work so hard, and my boss doesn't praise me, he praises my colleague. Poor me, I work overtime, and my colleague gets the promotion, and I don't. Poor me, I get blamed for everything that goes wrong, My parents don't appreciate me. They want me to make more money and be more famous. My children don't appreciate me. They all want to go out with their friends. Even my dog doesn't like me enough. And then my little toe hurts. Poor me, my little toe hurts. I mean, we really get into feeling sorry for ourselves. And meanwhile, this incredible opportunity we have to practice the Buddha's teachings and to attain liberation and enlightenment, it just goes right by, and we don't even appreciate our life, and we don't appreciate the value of each moment of living this life. Yeah? So as a result, we always feel dissatisfied. But I think if we were to really appreciate our human life, we would greet each day with so much enthusiasm and so much joy, because we really would see the value of the opportunity that we have. And when we greet the day with joy, we live the day with joy. Okay? When we wake up always focused on ourselves, then the day becomes a disaster. Okay? When we wake up in the morning and we feel glad to be alive, and we recognize our potential to develop love and compassion for others, and we start to do that, then the day becomes very enjoyable, very pleasant. We're really happy. Some little problem occurs, it's okay, we can handle it. Okay? So what I'm getting at, the point here is that we create our experience in life. We are not living a life where we are innocent little victims and there's objective reality out there impinging upon us. But our mood creates what we experience and how we experience things. So if we appreciate our possibility to practice the Dharma, our mind is joyful, and everything we encounter in the day becomes an opportunity for practice, and so our life feels very rich and very meaningful. When we don't appreciate our opportunity, and we're just very sensitive about me and all my problems, then everything we see in our life becomes a problem and becomes a difficulty. And, you know, life doesn't have to be like that. Are you getting what I'm saying? No? So if we want to be happy, and if we want to create the good karma for good future rebirths and for liberation and enlightenment, we have to keep a happy mind right now. Okay? I remember one of my teachers, when I was a beginner, he used to say, make your mind happy. And I'd say, what are you talking about, make your mind happy? I want to be happy. I can't make myself be happy. Yeah. But then as I've practiced the Dharma longer, I've realized that we can make our mind be happy. Yeah. All we have to do is switch what we think about. All we have to do is change what we think about. Okay? So for what I was just saying now about appreciating our precious human life, if we think about that, our mind automatically becomes joyful. And another quality of a precious human life is that we learn many techniques for how to change how we think so that our mind is joyful. So in the Tibetan tradition, there's something called thought transformation. And I think in Chan, in Chinese and Vietnamese Buddhism, you have this as well, where you say little gathas, or little slogans, little phrases when you're doing things to transform our thoughts, to transform our mind. So for example, when we walk upstairs, instead of walking up the stairs and going, oh God, this is so wearisome, I'm so tired walking up the stairs, we think, I'm walking towards liberation and enlightenment, and I'm leading all sentient beings up towards those noble goals. Okay? So when you think like that when you're walking upstairs, then you don't get tired, because you're thinking, well, I'm leading all sentient beings to enlightenment. Yeah? Or when you walk downstairs, then you think, I'm going into the unfortunate realms in order to help the beings there be happy and to help them learn the Dharma. Then walking downstairs has a lot of meaning. When you do the dishes, it's not just, oh, I gotta do the dishes, why can't somebody else do my dishes? You know, it's, you look at the water and the soap as the Dharma, and the dirt on the dishes, you know, the extra food, that's the defilements on sentient beings' minds. And so you use the cloth, your cloth represents concentration and wisdom, and the soap represents the Dharma, and the dirt are the defilements on sentient beings' minds. And so when you clean, you think, with concentration and wisdom, I'm using the Dharma to help purify sentient beings' minds. Yeah. Then washing the dishes becomes fun, because you can think, okay, now I'm purifying Osama bin Laden's mind. Great, I'm purifying George Bush's mind. That's even better. Yeah. Or this person who harms me, who I don't like, I'm purifying their mind of their misery and their anger. Yeah? So when you think like this, then washing dishes is fun. Yeah? Or if you have to mop the floor or vacuum the floor, you do the same thing of, cleansing the dirt, removing the dirt from sentient beings' minds, leaving their radiant Buddha potential there. So when you think like this, when you're cleaning the floor or waxing furniture or whatever, then, those chores become very delightful because our way of thinking has been transformed. And our mind, instead of being negative or being neutral, our mind now becomes very joyful and very happy. And we create a lot of good karma through the way that we're thinking. Okay? So there's all sorts of things like this that we can do during our day. For example, when we get dressed in the morning, instead of, looking in the mirror and, how do I look and how does this look on me, when you put your clothes on, think that you're offering garments to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Yeah? Think of your clothes as celestial silks, and you're offering all these beautiful silks to Kuan Yin. Huh? And then you get dressed. Getting dressed is very nice then, huh? Yeah? Or when you're bathing, you're cleansing all the anger from sentient beings' minds. Yeah? You stand under the shower, you think the water is all the nectar coming from Kuan Yin's vase, all the purifying nectar from Kuan Yin, coming all over you, purifying you, cleansing all the defilements, all the negative karma, washing all that away, filling you up with Kuan Yin's love and compassion. So you think like that when you take a bath. And taking a bath is very nice. Yeah? And taking a bath becomes part of your Dharma practice, part of the path to enlightenment, because of the way that you're thinking. Okay? So there's many things like this that we can do in the course of a day just to transform our mind and to make our mind go into the Dharma. One thing that I strongly recommend to do is when you first get up in the morning to set your motivation. And you can do this when you wake up. You don't even have to get out of bed. Okay, so there's no excuse for not doing the practice I'm going to teach you right now, okay? Because you can't say, oh, sorry, I couldn't get out of bed, because you can do this one in bed, okay? So, and you might want to write these down and put a little post-it, by your bed so you remember it. So when you wake up in the morning, first of all, think, I'm alive. I have a precious human life with the ability to practice the Dharma. The day has started off marvelous already. Then think, what's the most important thing I have to do today? Now our worldly mind might think, oh, most important thing, I have to drive my children here, and I have to do this project at work, and I have to, do this errand. That's not the most important thing you have to do today. Okay? Actually, most important thing we have to do today is not harm anybody. Wouldn't you agree? Whether you get your errands done, whether you eat or, go to work or whatever, most important thing is, as much as possible today, I'm not going to harm anybody. I'm not going to harm them physically. I'm not going to harm them by saying nasty things about them. And I'm not going to harm them by dwelling on negative thoughts about them either. Okay? So first thing in the morning, you make that resolution. Then, another most important thing to do. There can be more than one most important thing. Second important thing is, as much as possible today, I'm going to benefit others. Yeah? So in whatever big or small way I can, I'm going to help. Now, sometimes we feel, oh, but I'm not Mother Teresa, and I'm not the Dalai Lama, and I'm not these great sages and saints. who can, help so many sentient beings. So how can I help anybody? We can help a lot of people. Because, let's face it, the Dalai Lama and Mother Teresa don't live in our family. They can't help our family the way we can. They don't go to our workplace or to our school. They can't help our classmates or our colleagues at work the way we can. Okay? So just by small things we do, we can really contribute to the benefit of others. For example, when you go into work, smile. Smile at your colleagues. Yeah. Greet them. Say good morning. See if that doesn't change the way you relate to people in your workplace. Okay? Try giving some of your colleagues good feedback. Compliment them on the work that they do well. So instead of competing with them, notice what they do well and say that. Praise them. We don't lose anything by praising others. It was really funny along this line. I was teaching this one time in America, and I gave the people in the class a homework assignment. Their homework was for the next week, they had to every day say something nice to somebody. Preferably somebody that they had a hard time getting along with. Okay, that was their homework. Every day they had to say something nice, and praise somebody, point out something they had done well. So one man came up to me afterwards and he said, "Oh, I have this colleague at work that I really can't stand." And I said, "Do your homework with this colleague. You find something nice to comment about him every day." So a week went by, I came for the next class, and that man came up to me and he said, "I tried it. And the first day it was really hard. I couldn't think of anything nice to say to the guy, anything nice to compliment him on. So I made something up." And he said, "But then my colleagues started acting different towards me. So the second day, it was easier to say something nice to him. And the third day, I began to actually notice that he had some good qualities. And so then I could compliment him in an earnest way." So it was quite interesting because just through this practice of trying to be of benefit and trying to be pleasant, the whole relationship at work got transformed. You might want to try something like that. Yeah. See if it changes things. We can also benefit the people in our family, and I think this is very important because so often we take our family for granted. Yeah. We think they're so much a part of us that we don't really need to be careful about how we treat them. Okay. How many of you are grumpy in the morning? Come on. Oh, one honest person. It's the same one who was honest before. What about, who's grumpy in the morning? Come on. Come on. Another honest person. Good. Okay. So, when we're grumpy in the morning, who's the victim of our grumpiness? Our family. Okay. We go down to breakfast. Yeah. Your kids are there. Your kids, "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad." Your kids are so loving. And you're sitting there. Ugh. Shut up. Eat your breakfast. You're grumpy. You don't talk to your kids. Yeah. Or you're grumpy and you become a drill sergeant in the army with your kids. Have you ever noticed that some parents actually act like drill sergeants? They don't know how to talk to their kids. All they know how to do is give order. Get up. Yeah. brush your teeth, go to the bathroom. You're late for school. Hurry up. Get in the car. You didn't comb your hair. What's wrong with you anyway? I told you 5 times to comb your hair. Do your homework. Turn off the TV. Turn off the computer. Take a bath. Go to bed. I mean, some parents, really, they sound like an army sergeant, don't they? Yeah? So how can you benefit your kids if you treat them, treat them like that? So when we're talking about benefiting sentient beings, in the morning, go down and try looking in your children's eyes and look at them and see that there's this beautiful sentient being here. There's this lovely, fresh little being who's so excited about life and is growing up. And look at your child and smile at them. And look at your husband or your wife and smile at them. Yeah? Really, this is very profound Dharma practice. Because who do we take for granted most? Husband and wife, don't we? Oh, come on, take out the garbage, do the laundry, why don't you make more money, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? I've had so many people come and they tell me, oh, my parents, all they do is bicker. And then when these people get married, all of a sudden they find themselves acting just like their parents. And they're horrified because they always said, I will never talk to my spouse the way my mother and father talk to each other. And then there they are talking to their spouse. Yeah? So when I talk about benefiting sentient beings, try being nice to your husband and wife. Really, try respecting them. Try speaking kindly. Try helping them out. Yeah? If you don't take out the garbage, try taking out the garbage. It could improve your whole marriage. Believe me. Yeah? Or try cleaning up after yourself. Really, can you imagine, you're a slob. You leave everything all over and expect your husband or wife to pick up for you. And then they wonder why, then you wonder why they're not friendly towards you. Try picking up after yourself and see if your spouse doesn't act nicer towards you. A what? A pampered husband. Henpecked husband. Well, the way how to get out of being a henpecked husband is to do what your wife says. Then she won't bug you anymore. Aren't you glad it's a woman giving the Dharma talk? A man would never say that, huh? But really, try thinking. I mean, you know what your spouse likes and what they don't like. Try being kind. Try doing some of those things. They will stop pestering you if you do it. Yeah? So you see, there's so many ways just to benefit people in our family that we see every day. No? When you get off of work, okay, and you're going home, before you go in the door of your home, just stop for a minute and breathe, okay? And stop and think, I'm going into my home to spend the time with the people I care the most about. And I want to really connect and be loving to the people. And then open the door and go into your home. Okay? So if you set your motivation to be loving and kind and connect with your family, there's much better chance that you're going to do that. Because if you just get off of work and you go home and you just open the door and you're going, oh, I'm exhausted. You sit down on the sofa, bring me some water. You take out the thing for the television, the remote control. You turn it on, and you sit in front of the TV like this. And you call that relaxing. Okay? And then you wonder why your family is a mess. It's because you don't talk to the people in your family. Try, coming home and breathing. Do a little bit of breathing meditation. Let the stress from the day go. And then look at your family members and say, how was your day, dear? Talk to your children. What happened to you in school today? How are your friends? What did you learn? Okay. Take an interest in them. It's just this, life is made of so many small events, and all these small events are an opportunity to practice the Dharma by bringing love and compassion and kindness into them. Life isn't just big events, it's just all these small daily things. So like I said, Dalai Lama can't come into your family and do that. You can. Yeah. And before you go to work, set your motivation and think, I'm going to work not just to make money, but to be kind to my colleagues, to give a good working environment. And I'm going to work so that whatever product, comes out or whatever service comes out, that other people benefit. Yeah. So even if you're making cups, may all the people who get the cups that my factory makes, may they all be well and happy. Yeah. May everybody who drinks out of these cups always be happy. Put your love into your work. Or if you're on the telephone all day, with different clients, may I benefit the people that I speak with all day. Yeah? Okay? So it really transforms things. Okay? So that's the second thing. When I was talking about our motivation in the morning, first important thing is to say to ourselves, I'm not going to harm others as much as possible. Second, I'm going to be of benefit and service as much as possible. Third thing to set our motivation in the morning is I'm going to generate the bodhicitta. The bodhicitta is the enlightened attitude or awakening mind or altruistic intention. It's the aspiration to become a fully enlightened Buddha so that we'll have the wisdom, compassion, and skill to be of the greatest service to everybody. So before you even get out of bed in the morning, you generate that motivation. The real meaning and purpose in my life, the real important thing in my life is I'm going towards full enlightenment for the benefit of all beings. And if you generate that motivation every morning and remember it during the day, it becomes so much easier to handle the ups and downs of life. Because with the bodhicitta, with that altruistic intention, our mind is focused long term on this noble goal of enlightenment. So then if we have some little problem during the day, it's not a big deal, because we know our life is meaningful and we know we're going towards enlightenment. Yeah. Somebody yells at us, that's just a problem of today. It's not a big problem. Yeah. I have a little thing that I say to myself sometimes when, unpleasant things happen in the day. I just tell myself, oh, that's just a problem of this life. It's not so important. Yeah. Or that's just a problem of today. It's not so important. I don't need to get so upset about it. Because I know where I'm going. My life is directed towards enlightenment. So little problems, I don't get the thing I want, people don't treat me the way I think I should be treated. Let it go. It's not a big deal. Okay? So you see, setting our motivation like this in the morning can be a very strong influence for how we live the rest of the day. Then, during the rest of the day, we try and remember this motivation as much as possible. And in the evening, we sit down and do a little reflection, and we evaluate how well we did. Okay? So, did I harm anybody today? No. And we might say, oh, well, I started to get mad at my neighbor, and previously I probably would have, said something really mean to them. But today, I kept my mouth closed. I didn't say anything mean. Okay, that's progress. Good me. Pat yourself on the back and rejoice in your merit. Okay. But I still was angry at them. That's not so positive. So then you do a little bit of meditation on patience to clear out the anger. And then when you go to bed, your mind is calm. You're not taking that anger with you when you sleep. Okay? So at the end of the day, you just review and evaluate how well you did. Okay? Purify what needs to be purified. Dedicate all the merit you created. Okay, so that's a little bit about precious human life. Okay? How difficult and rare it is to attain it. How to make it meaningful. Okay? And how to construct just a very good daily practice by generating our motivation not to harm, to benefit, and to aim for enlightenment. Okay? And in the day, remembering it. In the evening, reviewing it and evaluating. Okay? So, now there's a little bit of time for questions and comments. So please ask whatever you would like. I should tell you that this is your chance to ask questions. Because lots of time people think, oh, I won't ask my question now. I'll go up and ask her after the talk. So what happens is nobody asks questions. Then everybody lines up after the talk. And of all things, there's probably about 5 questions because everybody has the same question. So please ask your questions now. And be assured that probably other people in the audience also have those same doubts. Okay, if there's no questions, then we'll just do a short meditation and we'll close. Okay, so in this meditation, review what you heard tonight. Okay, take some point, something that was discussed, and think about it in terms of your own life. Okay, think about how you can put what you heard tonight into practice in your life and make some sort of resolution. So let's just spend 2-3 minutes doing this. And then let's dedicate all the positive potential we accumulated through sharing the Dharma this evening. And let's dedicate so that as much as possible in our lives we don't harm others or ourselves. Let's dedicate so that as much as possible in our lives we can be beneficial to the people around us. Let's dedicate so that this bodhicitta, this altruistic intention, always grow in our heart, and that we're never separated from this aspiration for enlightenment for the benefit of all beings. Let's dedicate so that the Dharma exists purely in our minds and in our world forever. Let's dedicate so that we always have a precious human rebirth with all the conditions to practice the Dharma, and that we and everybody else can make use of this precious human life, so that we can attain liberation and enlightenment. Let's dedicate so that people can live peacefully amongst each other, with each other, and also so that each living being can be peaceful within his or her own heart. And finally, let's dedicate so that all sentient beings may quickly attain full enlightenment and be forever free of all problems and suffering, and abide in a state of bliss and wisdom and compassion. Okay, thank you. There, on the brochure for the Abbey, there's two websites. One is the Abbey's website, where you can see more photos and get news updates. The other is my personal website that's managed by some Dharma friends in Singapore. And there you will find lots of audio material, Dharma talks, and also articles and things that you can read about. So, that's a resource for you to have. If you didn't receive the brochure, there's some up here. And there's also some big booklets where you can look at the pictures of the Abbey again. So please do come and visit. Okay? And it's been very, very nice being here. The temple is wonderful, and I really rejoice at all the social service work that the monks and nuns here are doing, at their educational program, and at the opportunity they give you to hear teachings and practice and meditate. So it's very good what you're doing here. I really rejoice. When I was in KL, I heard so many good things about Tangsheng Temple, and I come here and they're true. So thank you all.